It's Saturday morning, live from across the Bostik Leagues. This is Back of the Net, where your weekend football begins.
So we are live from Worthing Football Club. We've got Adam Hinshelwood who will join us very shortly. Aaron Racine is already here, ready to go to talk to us about everything Worthing and their turnaround in fortunes in the last few weeks. We're going to be talking all about the Bostik North division in detail today as well, as we speak to Danny Heel, the Canvey Island manager, and Neil Simmons, the Dereham Town manager. They're leading the way at the top of the Bostik North. We also speak to Jody Brown, the Heybridge Swift manager. They might be in 11th place, but they play 10 games left than those teams leading the way in the Bostik North. We'll also look back on that game on Thursday evening in the FA Cup. Leatherheads are the only Bostik team left in the competition in the FA Cup second round, flying the flag, and we'll hear from Sammy Moore and Harry Wheeler after that fantastic FA Cup tie. It's Back of the Net, official BOTN on social media.
Your favourite non-league football show, powered by Promote UK. We're really good at what we do. Back of the Net, where it matters.
So plenty to get our teeth into, Mick Sullivan, today. It's been a fascinating week of football. It started with us as we saw Corinthian Casuals hit 6 against South Park, and then on Thursday night we'll talk a little bit later about that game in the FA Cup, and today we find ourselves at Worthing up against Leiston. Worthing rejuvenated and Leiston just slipping off the pace of things in the last couple of weeks. It's going to be a fascinating tie.
Fascinating time, but we've had a very busy week, Ben, haven't we? You know, 3 games in a week is quite a lot for players and for us media people. But I just want to make a mention, which is really, really, really good, that we're getting some managers actually listening in, and particularly one that started the trend off is Jim Coopers. Obviously, he got his earpiece in as he's travelling wherever he might be. So good morning, Jim, out there. Try and get a few more managers and players to listen to us each Saturday morning from 11 o'clock.
And it's a very good morning to Aaron Racine, who's joined as the assistant manager here at Worthing. Morning, Aaron.
Morning.
It's been a really interesting couple of weeks to be in a Worthing Football Club. It's been a difficult start to the season, and the last couple of weeks things starting to take a turn.
Yeah, I think that's not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. We had our problems off the pitch early on. I think that's turned around, and it's definitely helped on the pitch. But no, we're slowly getting there.
And what do you put that turnaround to? I mean, obviously change in management, but is there anything particular that's being done a lot differently at the club now?
Not massively, no. Just the manager, like you said, and the tactics. We've got a few different personnel on the pitch coming in. It's just a bit refreshing from the beginning of the season, as it was.
And obviously having had such a bad start and still at the bottom of the table, but you say things looking up in the last couple of weeks, is there targets now that can be set? What can be achieved this season? We're still quite early, relatively early on in the season.
Well, I think it's obvious that we're obviously going to try and avoid relegation. Obviously being at the bottom, like you said. But I think, no, it's just the old cliche, get one game at a time at the moment. Like you said, the position we're in, that's all we can do. Take each game at a time, obviously try and get the win and get out that relegation zone.
And we saw Worthing very early on when they went up to Lowestoft, and the performance wasn't that bad, but you could tell there was confidence lacking in the team. And when you go as a team through that run of results where you don't pick up a win in your first 10 games, it is a confidence thing then.
It is a confidence thing, but I do think Gary did change a lot of the personnel in the close season for reasons we don't know yet. Perhaps we're getting insight from the assistant manager here or Adam himself, but definitely things weren't quite right, and I felt a little bit for Gary Elphick at the start of the season. It looked like he was a guy under pressure, a young guy at that, and obviously I knew a few of the players that they'd brought in, but from my neck of the woods, London, some of them were ex-Merston players, and I'm not so sure they just bedded in, but as you rightly say, you know, the performance weren't bad, but there must have been an underlying current there that maybe was upsetting things possibly, but perhaps we'll get to hear more of that as the show goes on.
And the last couple of results, obviously looking at the league form, a win at Needham Market, a win against Dorking Wanderers, back-to-back wins, which means a hell of a lot once if you've started the season the way that Worthing did.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, like we're still in that relegation zone, but those back-to-back wins definitely help. And it's just that gives us the the team confidence and the club confidence. Because like you said, we haven't been playing bad. I don't think we deserve to lose a lot of the games at the beginning of this season. But maybe our luck's finally starting to turn and we're getting the results.
And when you come into the club, really impressive setup, big main stand. Obviously, the pitches not been helpful this season with everything that's gone on with that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But when you look around, it's a big club. Yeah.
I've been surprised when I've gone to away games and I've seen the facility. No disrespect, but I've seen some of the facilities at some of the away clubs in this league compared to Worthing, and Worthing shine head and shoulders above the rest from what I've seen at the moment. So everything's here in place.
And Mick, you were saying at the beginning of the season you were really surprised that they were down there with the facilities and the club that they are, and the support that they have as well.
Yeah, I'm sure the club are very disappointed. I think they thought it was going to be a very bright season. It's a bit of a freebie season as well, as there's only one relegation place. So in a way, that's helped Worthing in the predicament they're in. I can't see them finishing last this coming season, not for the stature of this club and some of the results. Obviously, we've seen the form table here going into this game. You've only lost one in your last 4 games, so you're a team coming into form. And it looks like you're going to turn it around, which I have said to a fair few people just during conversations this week at games we've covered, that I didn't think Worthing will be going down.
And Aaron, what do you make of the division this season? Because we've seen it probably more than ever this year, that the results sometimes, even for teams that are in form, they'll go somewhere and they'll concede 5, and it's very sporadic.
Yeah, I think that's not just this league. I think it's a few leagues really. A couple of leagues above, a couple of leagues below. I think anyone can beat anyone on their day, whether that's down to complacency from certain teams or lack of trying. I don't know, but there's not a big difference between the bottom teams in this league and the top teams really.
Yes, I'd agree with that one, Aaron, definitely. I mean, everyone beats everyone. I think that's why the league table, as we were talking about it also earlier, the facts are that anyone down from sort of 15th or 16th in that table can actually get in the playoffs. There's extra spots available. There's only one relegation. It's an unusual season this year, and I think there's a lot of pressure off managers particularly, and I think the expectations of certain clubs that maybe thought they would never make it to playoffs can just look up that table and think, if we can get a run of 5 or 6 games together, you'll be in the mix. So, it might be a little bit too far from Worthing, but you never know in football. I
think the quality of players as well in these leagues are getting a lot better than they have been over the last few years. I think players, not so much coming down, but I think some players that are coming up and stepping up to the mark are improving drastically. I think that's helping the league as well.
And I just noticed you actually have signed a couple of players of recent time. Obviously, Jimmy Wild, who I sort of seen quite a bit at Bognor. Yeah. So obviously he looks like a good centre forward and a good signing for you. And is it the name I called you? Is it Raul Ovenden?
Ovenden, yeah.
Who's a centre midfield player? Is he likely to? Has he featured in any games? Just like
he has lately? Recently. He took an injury the game before last on his knee. Not too bad. But yeah, I think he played before that every game really. I think four or 5 games when he signed. He's in every game, done really well.
Have either of them made an impact, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. I think Ryle's played more games than Jimmy. Obviously, he signed sooner, so he's had more of an impact than Jimmy. But Jimmy definitely offers us something different up front. He's a specimen. He's an absolute beast. 6'5", I think he is. Good left foot. So yes, there's something different.
And do you play yourself? You look fit enough.
Well, I'm currently injured with an ACL injury, but I was playing, yeah.
Right, okay.
And tell us a little bit about your background in football.
So I went through Southampton youth team from 15 to I was 20. Couple loan moves in that time, and then from 20 years old I went straight to Forest Green, and I spent 5 years there. I was there last year, and I done my cruise ship on loan at Torquay last year. So I'm just recovering from that, and hopefully going to try and get back involved when I'm back fit.
Would you be the connection of the centre forward that went to Forest Green? Was there a connection that maybe you helped get there?
No, there was no connection there. No, that was just hard work on Omar's behalf.
Oh, right.
We're going to talk about the game today, obviously, against Leiston. And we've got Glenn Driver, the manager, on the phone. A very good morning to you, Glenn. Glenn is on the phone. Morning, Glenn. Morning, Glenn. He is there.
Hello.
Hello, Glenn. It's Ben here. Thanks for joining us on the show. We're here at Worthing, obviously ahead of the game this afternoon. I imagine you're just making your way down.
Yeah, we're on the coach, just hitting Brentwood, so we're on our travels and on our way.
And it's been a mixed bag for you recently. Obviously, a couple of defeats in the league and losing against Dorking Wanderers in the FA Trophy last week. How did you get back on track?
Just being positive. We've got to be positive. We've got a few players back today, which we've been crying out for. We've had quite a few injuries, but hopefully now we've got a few bodies back, so hopefully we'll start to pick up again.
And sometimes as a manager, I guess that's really frustrating when you're up at the top and you've been on a good run and you do pick up a cluster of injuries. Do you have to adjust your targets, or is it just a case of getting through certain periods of that experience of saying, well, we're just going to get through this period because I know that we'll be all right?
I think throughout a football season, every team will go through what we've gone through. There's only one or two teams in the division who can most probably go out and replace their injuries. Obviously, budgets build football sides, and we've got a budget that we have to work to. But I'm sure everybody will go through what we've been through. We're hopefully going to come out the other end of it and hopefully start that today. But targets don't change, because what we have to do as a football club, we have to realise where we're actually at. And with the size of our football club, with us being in and around the playoffs for the last 2 years, that can only be a positive. So we've used some kids, and some kids have come in and got some valuable experience, which is always a positive, and that's what we're trying to do at our football club, bring in a bit of youth. But like I said, when you have, I've had a squad of 16 and I've had 7 missing in one or two of those games, so it's going to take a task on any side at this level.
And Worthing today, tough task, because they've recently turned their form around and won their last few. So what are you expecting the game to be like today?
Very tough game. We've done a bit of homework on Worthing, and they've brought 1 or 2 young lads in as well. They got to get the ball down and play, which will suit us because we're very similar. But we know this game is most probably going to be as tough as we've had this season. It was always just a matter of time before Worthing pulled through. They had to play their open fixtures all away from home, and that's a big ask for any club again at this level, to go on the road week in, week out. And we've found ourselves in a similar situation at the moment. We just seem to always be away, Ben. But coming to Worthing today, we know it's going to be very, very tough, and we're going to have to be at our best to take anything from the game.
And did you see the FA Cup game on Thursday night? There's obviously 2 Bostik teams. Brilliant to see 2 Bostik teams in the first round. We've obviously got one in the second round, and that just proves that any team can beat anybody in this division.
Well, it just goes to show that money don't always buy you success, does it? We all know that Billericay have got a budget that most probably quadruples most of ours, if not more. And I was so pleased, for Sammy Moore. He's a lovely guy, and I have regular contact with him as well. We got on really well, and it's always nice to make friends at this levels rather than enemies. But I thought their performance against Billericay was absolutely outstanding. To go a goal behind, show the guile and the strength and the mental strength to come back and win that game is a credit to Leatherhead Football Club, and it gives everybody in the league a little bit of hope that let's make the league of this season. Let's not let someone just run away with it. Let's all up our game and work hard against sides who most probably a little bit more wealthier than ourselves. And I congratulate Sammy Moore and Leatherhead on a fantastic result. And I'm sure Billericay have got, like I said, they've got other tasks this season, which obviously the league is their main goal. And if you want my honest opinion, I still see them as favourites winning this league. But let's just make it tight and have a good go and see if we can just make the gap that little bit smaller and not let them run away with anything.
Well, we're very much looking forward to the game today. Safe trip down. We'll see you a little bit later on. And thanks very much, Glenn, for joining us on the show.
Thanks for your time, Ben. See you soon.
Glenn Driver, the Leicester manager, and Adam Hinshelwood, the Worthing manager, has joined us now. Morning, Adam.
Morning. Sorry I was a bit late there.
No problem at all. We were just talking to Aaron about the turnaround in fortunes at the club and what you've done over the last few games. You must be delighted.
No, yeah, I'm really delighted with the group we got together, really. Since I've come in, they've been receptive to the ideas that I'm trying to put across to them, and really sort of took to the way we want to play. And, full credit sort of go to them, really, because, like I say, they've just been like a breath of fresh air to work with, and it's a pleasure to come in and sit in the same dressing room with them. It's a good team spirit that we got, and enjoy being part of it.
And was there anything in particular that you when you came in that you thought, oh, I need to work on this aspect of it?
I think the sort of situation we was in, it was just a matter of, just making us tough to beat and tough to play against. And we started off with just playing sort of a 4-4-2, getting in 2 banks of 4 and just being tough. And we did okay. We competed, but it wasn't the sort of style and brand that I want to be associated with, really. I like to get the ball down and play, and I see that, we had the players that could do that. So with 1 or 2 additions, we set about a new system, and like I say, they've been really receptive to it, and it seems to have worked for us, made us a bit solid, and we're having our foothold in the game and getting our foot on the ball, and we try and dominate possession a little bit, and we've been lucky enough to do that in most of the games.
Adam, I'll have to butt in here. Do you feel that when Gary took over, because obviously you were here prior to him, do you think Gary just changed the whole ethos of how Worthing are and how they've played previously? Because I do remember, obviously, we played you many times, Merstham, and you had a good bunch of youngsters here about 3 years ago, and I could see they were going to go on to better things, and they passed the full for fun and that. Are you sort of maybe saying that Gary went a bit more direct, or he changed that way, or he brought too many different players that weren't local? And are you sort of suggesting maybe when you come in you had to bring a little bit more locality to people that are more local to this club and a little bit more pride in it and those sort of things?
Yeah, I think, I don't like to speak about, the way sort of Gary see the club going, and, because a lot of the side that we got today are players that Gary brought in as well. So, but yeah, maybe when his beliefs were a bit different to perhaps mine was before and what mine again now, I believe that, I believe in working with players and improving them, and I think you need them there for training, and I like to get a good team spirit, and I think that's hard to do when you've got lads that live far away, because they ultimately after training just want to get back in the car and stuff like that. I like to put on a little bit for the lads so they come and sit together after training as well, just have 20 minutes where they're just having a bit of team spirit, a bit of bonding, getting to know each other. And if you've got lads that are living so far away, that's hard to get, because they just obviously ultimately don't want to spend that extra 20 minutes sat with the lads. They want that 20 minutes closer to home. So I'm not going to say there's a right or wrong way. It's just the way that I believed in doing it. So like I say, when I was here before, that's what sort of worked well for me, and I know the fans and everyone bought into that. Having local lads and stuff like that, and that's the way that I believed that I wanted it to go. And like I say, there's a lot of Sussex lads again in the squad, and they seem to enjoy each other's company. And like I say, it's a pleasure as well. You look forward to the next session and the next game, and that you get together. And I think if the lads are feeling that as well, then it bodes well.
Now, before we get into the non-league quiz that we do, which will give you a chance to have a go at today, I want to ask you a serious question about the pitch. And I know you've probably taken many a question over the last few weeks about it, that it didn't meet the grade, and it has now. There was talk when we came here this morning about it might still need to be changed. What is it like to play, and what is the problem with it?
Just my sort of rough understanding really is that the sort of base underneath it wasn't the correct sort of stone or whatever put down, I'm led to believe. So they've done some work to try and eradicate that and got it up to a standard. But still there's, some sort of areas that it plays a little bit lively at times, and it's more than suitable for, the style that we want to play and, the standard of football really. I mean, there's no harm to anyone. It's not going to, it's not going to cause any injuries or nothing like that. So, but ultimately, George has spent a lot of money on it, and he, after 2 years, doesn't want these concerns and stuff like that. He wants, longevity in it, and you can see from what he's done to the club and just this building we're in now. If he's going to do something, he likes it done properly, and the same with the pitch. He wants the best surface. He wants the best goals. He wants us to play in the best kit. That's just the way George is, and I'm sure that, like I say, he want the best surface that he can get.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier, very impressive. The ground looks as well, and I think the question was just in layman's terms: is there any, Aaron, real difference when you play on it? We mentioned it's a little bit lively at times, but is it pretty much it's a pitch and it plays?
Yeah, I think there's been too much sort of talk about it. It's not bad at all. I've played on a few surfaces like that and trained on some, and you can't really tell the difference. There's little bits of problems, like you say, it's a bit lively, but I think everything just that come out, it was just all so negative about it, but it's not too bad.
We'll move on, and we're going to do our non-league football quiz now.
It's time to see who has the best non-league football brain in the studio. Tweet your answers to @officialBOTN.
It'll be really interesting to see who has the best non-league football brain between the two of you, Aaron and Adam.
Jeez, yeah, pretty struggling.
You're all set with pens and paper.
Team up.
We're going to get you to play individually just because there's only Mick Sullivan playing. Luke is playing as well today, our producer Luke. And we've got 5 cracking questions as always.
Question 1.
So the first question is, which former Birmingham City, Burnley, Doncaster Rovers, Kidderminster Harriers and Cheltenham Town player has recently been appointed joint manager of Solihull Moors? Which former Birmingham, Burnley, Doncaster, Kidderminster and Cheltenham player has recently been appointed joint manager of Solihull Moors?
So them teams again, sorry? What teams?
Birmingham, Burnley, Doncaster Rovers, Kidderminster and Cheltenham he's played for, and he's just been appointed joint manager of Solihull Moors. Any ideas, Mick? You look...
No, I'm totally gone. Give me an ABC and then I'm in there. You're not giving me an ABC today, are you?
I've read this as well. Week.
Yeah, I know, I've read it this week.
It might come back to you.
We've been busy this week, Ben. We've been out a little bit.
Question 2.
Which Bostik Premier sides play their home matches at the Green Elephant Stadium? Which Bostik Premier side play their home matches?
That's ridiculous, this end of the woods.
This is better.
Give
at
me
the Green
these two.
Elephant Stadium.
Give me.
Question 3.
Manchester United's biggest defeat in club history was 11-3, but which Bostik side enjoyed that emphatic victory in 1904? Manchester United's biggest defeat in club history was 11-3, but which Bostik side enjoyed that emphatic victory in 1904? So it's a current Bostik side.
Unbelievable stat.
Can you give us what division possibly? Just give us half a chance.
They are in the Bostik South.
Well,
and they beat Manchester United 11-3 in 1904. And there'll be people listening and watching now that will be going, I absolutely know that one. I know what that is.
Do you know?
I've been told, so I'm gonna step out of this question.
So Luke gets no marks for that.
Producer Remy was so excited about this one that she just had to tell everyone.
So Manchester United's biggest defeat, 11-3, but which current Bostik South side inflicted that victory in 1904? Official BOTM with your answers.
Question 4.
On Thursday night's FA Cup first round replay, who was the Billericay player who saw red on 82 minutes? Was it Paul Konchesky, Adam Cunnington or Rob Swain? 82 minutes was the red card for Billericay on Thursday night. Was it Paul Konchesky, Adam Cunnington or Rob Swain?
Question 5.
Worthing are one of 7 W teams in the Bostik Leagues. Can you name the other 6? Worthing are one of 7 teams that begin with W across the Bostik Leagues. Can you name the other 6?
Please repeat.
And Luke, you need to concentrate on this quiz. So Worthing begin with a W. There are 6 other teams across the Bostik Leagues that begin with W. Can you name them? We'll give you maybe 30 seconds to think about the other 6 teams across the Bostik Leagues. Your minds go blank. Don't forget, you can always play along with this. Official BOTN across social media. You can let us know your answers. You might beat Mick in today's quiz if you do that. No cheating on any devices.
Nope.
Right, Aaron and Adam, how did you find the quiz?
Struggle 1 or 2 to be fair.
Okay, we're gonna go.
First one's going to annoy me, but the rest of them won't.
Let's go through the answers so it doesn't annoy you for any longer.
Question 1.
So the first question today was, which former Birmingham City, Burnley, Doncaster Rovers, Kidderminster Harriers and Cheltenham Town player has recently been appointed joint manager of Solihull Moors? Mick, what did you get?
Not a clue.
Is that your official answer?
That's my official answer.
I put Darren Carter.
I didn't know, no.
Luke?
Actually, that's interesting because I know of the guy called Not a Clue as well, so I put him down. As an interest.
Okay, well, I can tell you it wasn't that guy. It was actually Mark Yates, previously managed Kidderminster Harriers, Cheltenham and Crawley. He was appointed alongside Tim Flowers this week as the joint manager of Solihull Moors.
Question 2.
Which Bostik Premier side play their home matches at the Green Elephant Stadium, Mick?
Burgess Hill Town.
Aaron, did you get that one?
No, Burgess Hill Town. Yeah.
Adam got it?
Yeah, Burgess Hill Town.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay. Points all round apart from for Aaron.
Question 3.
Manchester United's biggest defeat in their club history was 11-3, but which Bostik South side enjoyed that day in 1904?
I'm just trying to think of an old club, and the only one that I can think of that's quite old is Faversham, so I'm just taking a punt at Faversham.
No idea.
I went Carl Shorten, just similar sort of.
I mean, I know the answer.
Okay, if I said to you, Mick, that their first name and their second team name was the same letter, would you get it?
No, just give it.
It's Corinthian Casuals.
Oh,
And actually,
dear.
we were there on Tuesday night, and I think
Wow.
producer Rem got it from the programme. There you go.
Well done, Remy.
Question 4.
During Thursday night's game, we were at Billericay against Leatherheads, and in the 82nd minute, Billericay had a player sent off. Was it Paul Konchesky, Adam Cunnington, or Rob Swain? Mick?
Well, I've got a. We were there.
Yeah, I'd be very
I
disappointed.
wouldn't want to get this one wrong, so it's Rob Swain.
Rob Swain.
Rob Swain.
Yep, Rob Swain. Do you think it was a straight red or a second yellow, Ben?
We were talking about this as on the way in. We were a bit miffed, and perhaps you guys can help us clear this up, as why the referee gave a second yellow card. He's obviously already been booked, gave him a second yellow and then the red. Surely that was a straight red.
Yeah, I thought it was a straight red personally, but
And it actually caused some confusion when we were commentating because when he got the yellow card out, we were thinking for a moment that he may have been booking the Leatherhead player. Who was
For a dive.
Who was the Leatherhead player? I can't. It was.
That he fouled? Was it
Yeah.
Neil, the other the guy up front? McManus,
Yeah,
was it
McManus.
Neil McManus,
Yeah, so we were actually thinking that it may have been for a dive because the
Yeah,
referee
that's
produced the yellow card, but then he obviously produced the red, which confused things. But for me, straight red.
Yeah, I think so.
Official BOTN. Let us know any reason why that might not have been a straight red. If you're a referee, I'd love to hear from you. Perhaps we could try and get a referee
Yeah,
on
let's
the
do
phone.
it.
Yeah, let's try
But
and
just
do
on
that.
another debate, Ben, I think on that big fight that happened, there's two sending off that could have happened then. Just to bring that on, Adam's shaking his head because he probably saw it on TV lightly, and it's ridiculous. But they are.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later on as we're going to hear from both the managers after that game.
Question 5.
Worthing are one of 7 W teams in the Bostik Leagues. Can you name the other 6? How far did we get? Anyone want to throw team names into
I'm
the mix?
embarrassed. I can only get one.
Yeah, I am as
Did you
well.
get one?
I got one.
Whiteleaf's mine.
I got Whiteleaf, Walton Casuals, and Whitstable.
Wow.
Whitstable not in this
Oh,
league
we're
no
not-
more. You got 2.
Two.
I got Walton. So,
Okay, I can tell
believe
you.
that.
Wingate and Finchley,
oh yeah.
Whittam Town, Waltham Abbey, Ware, Whiteleaf, and Walton Casuals.
That's embarrassing. I didn't get Walton.
Brain freeze.
Right, so how did everybody get on today?
From me counting the scores, which I definitely did, we had.
Get it right, Luke. Get it right. I know I'm not
Nick
bottom.
got.
So can I just interject and say
Yeah.
that we've got 2 producers on the show and neither one of them today, for some reason, are counting the scores. So as they sometimes say at school, I'm sure we're all winners today.
We're all winners.
Leave it that way, yeah.
We can
It's
go,
our
we'll have
one.
to go back through again. If anyone's listening and was actually paying attention, unlike our producers,
I was
then it's
too busy trying to think of W's. the
official
teams.
BOTN across social media. Right, Adam, is it you have to make your way out because you're actually doing some coaching today?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we've got just a young group in. So part and parcel of coming back was to get involved in the sort of development centre as well with the club. Something I'm keen to sort of get involved with as well. So yeah, got going. Do my duties that side as well. I'm afraid.
And what age group is that you're coaching?
So I believe it's year 3, 4 and 5 at school. So yeah, at the development centre we run from under 8s right through to under 16s. So just trying to get a bit more recruitment in that sort of age.
And that's brilliant to not only to see that obviously as a first team manager to go out and be doing that on a game day must be great for those players taking part as well.
Yeah, hopefully. You know, I really enjoy doing it as well. You know, so hopefully they enjoy it and want to come back and be part of what we're trying to do at Worthing.
And we mention this all the time, but the 3G surfaces that we have now are just, and I heard this week that there's a debate where I think the Football League are actually going to look into letting these pitches be in the Football League. I think the likes of obviously Sutton that are right at the top there, Bromley as well, so that it could well be that from next season they're allowing 3G pitches. What are your views on it?
Well, I think they used it like international and Champions League level, so I think it's only a matter of time, I think, before the Football League sort of succumb to allowing it in the Football League as well, because if international players are going up to play on it, and like I say Champions League games are getting played on it, then it's just a matter of time. Like I say, they've become more and more sort of popular now. It gives some added revenue to non-league clubs, and I think it's just a matter of time.
And Aaron, are you staying with us, or are you coaching as well?
I'm coaching as well, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So you guys, is this a regular thing when you're at home, obviously just prep for the games? Yeah,
we something we're going to start to do more often, really. To, like I say, we've got the facility and stuff. We want to try and be a big part of not just the first team stuff, but the community and the younger players as well. So just what we want to start doing on a more regular basis. We coach throughout the week here with the different age groups, and it's nice to see so many of them turn up on a match day as well, come and support the first team, and like I say, try and get that relationship with players and stuff as well.
Brilliant, we'll enjoy it, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later after the game. Good luck for today's game as well.
Yep, thanks so much.
Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Adam Hinshelwood and Aaron Racine, the manager and assistant manager here of Worthing. Got coaching duties to do as well before the game. It's all go here at Worthing today. Right, next up for us, we're going to hear from Lee Dynam, the new Kingstonian manager, and I caught up with him yesterday. How's life at Kingstonian? How are you settling in?
Yeah, really good. Really enjoying it. Couldn't have been made more welcome, and I'm very supportive of what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to achieve there.
And what's it like to go into, obviously, a huge club in the division? What's it like to go into a club at this stage of the season? What different challenges does that pose to a manager?
Obviously, I've gone in. Craig has done well with them. I mean, where he picked them up last season and kept them up with a game to spare late on in the season, and I think he put his mark on it when I took over. I think they were just either inside the playoffs or just outside where they are now. So he turned it around until he left. Obviously, he'd done a really good job in my opinion. So there's pressures there to continue that and not step off the pace really.
And you've got 6 out of a possible 9 points. Wins against Wingate and Finchley and Hendon, who are doing so well. So is that a pleasing start from your perspective?
Yeah, I wasn't in charge for the Wingate. Kim Harris was, so credit has to go to Kim and the boys for that. But Hendon was a baptism of fire. They was told some stats before the game where they'd won 7 at home out of 7. They'd only conceded 1 goal all season. So that was going to be a tall order. But we went in there and the boys performed and hit the levels, which I know they can hit. And we won it quite comfortably in the end, if I'm being honest. It was a good performance all round.
And just before you came to the club, you lost Lewis Taylor, who was the top scorer at the time. How did you go about replacing goals and people that perhaps left before you came?
Well, I mean, I was really looking forward to working with Tom Derry. I'd seen Tom play against me at Whiteleaf last season in a friendly during the season, and then pre-season, and his work rate is what I'm all about, really, all over the team. And I just said to him, "Why are you not getting goals?" And he had scored, I think, 15 in his first season, and I think he'd only scored 3 last season, if I get that right. He just said that he felt that he was never in the right position. He was always having to run the channels or run out and try and win the ball out wide. And we've just rectified that, really. He scored 4 in 6 for me and assisted 4 goals as well. So he's starting to hit the road running really quite well, to be fair. He's happy and he's scoring. So I mean that's that there with him, trying to get him scoring. And then obviously I've got Daniel Akaji coming with me from Whiteleaf, and I managed to get Reece Grant to come in from Braintree, who has scored, I think he scored a couple already. So just doing that way really getting strikers that I know that can go and get goals, really, to replacing the ones that are there already trying to get them to score.
Have you set the team a target for the rest of the season where you want to be?
No, look, the club and the team, us as a group, because we all want to get into the playoffs. We're close enough. The season starts now, is what I told them. If you're there or thereabouts, then you've got every chance. But there's 3 or 4 tough months to come now over the winter months, and we'll see what we're made of. So yeah, I mean, it's always going to be playoffs, trying to get in and around it. I said in other interviews that I wouldn't be in this game if I didn't want to try and get promotion in the league that I'm in.
Well, I wish you all the best with it. Any messages for Mick Sullivan? He's going to be sitting next to me when I do the show tomorrow.
And tell him to stop cheating when he's doing their questions and answers.
For all the best coverage from across the Bostik leagues, visit backofthenetsouth.co.uk.
Yeah, so I asked Lee, and I did say, has he got a message for you? And he just said that you're cheating with it. So I don't know if that was a particular reference to the show that we did at Whiteleaf.
Well, he had Koo. Him and Koo didn't beat me, that's for sure. But no, Lee's a good lad. He's a very confident person, and he's quite outspoken, which I love. You know, we all, as I say, there ain't many people like Glenn Tamplin for what he says, but I love him for what he says. Us media people absolutely love that, and I think Lee can come into that sort of category at times as well. So good luck today, Lee, whoever you're playing. I ain't looked yet, but thanks for that comment. Cheers.
And you went to see Kingstonian. You went to see them on Monday, and when they played, and were you impressed with what he's doing at the club? Yeah, definitely. It looks like a together type of side. They're playing for each other. It's not to say they weren't previously, but I just feel that he's put different dynamics into that team. It's like he talks about quite regularly. He likes to press high, he likes to put lots of pace into the team, and everyone's got to work hard. He don't necessarily tolerate a lot of sort of flair players. So, and you know, if you want to keep grinding points out, that's probably the right way. And what can they achieve this season, Kingstonian? Well, I did ask him the question. Well, personally, I do believe they can get into the playoffs. They're in a good position. He inherited a side that had got a fair few points under Craig Edwards and Kim doing his caretaker spell. So they accumulated a fair few good points to give Lee a good chance to get in the playoffs, and I believe they still could. And the reason why I say that is just because of the style of football they play. It's dynamic, it's forward-thinking, quicker. There's plenty of pace in that team, and you ain't going to have any slackers. You won't tolerate them. And they go up against Tooting Mitcham United today, and that's going to be a fascinating battle. We've got Frank Wilson coming on to play Mick versus the manager and talk about the club in a little while. It's going to be a good game there today. It will, yeah. Well, that'll be one of the score lines I'll be looking at afterwards. Obviously, we've got Frank on the phone in a minute, or the next 10 minutes, so it'd be interesting what he's got to say about the game coming up with them. But yeah, I would say that's going to be a close type of encounter. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Yeah, as I say, Frank Wilson will be on the show playing Mick versus the manager today. We're going to speak to him very shortly, and we're going to turn our attentions to the Bostik North division as well, as we start our roundup in the Bostik North by speaking live on the phone to Danny Hill, the Canvey Island manager. All coming up after this.
You're listening to Back of the Net, powered by Promote UK. We're really good at what we do.
Times are changing. We now live in a digital world where 9 out of 10 people use the internet to look for local goods and services. Whether in front of a computer at home or on a mobile phone on the go, people expect to find what they want, when they want, quickly and easily. The question is, can your business be found? At Promote UK, we specialise in getting local businesses found online. One highly affordable package will give your business a stunning mobile responsive website, which we guarantee to get to the first page of Google and keep it there. And we take care of everything: copywriting, design, hosting. We even offer unlimited amends all year round for no extra charge. So, whilst you're busy focusing on your business, we're busy making sure it can be found online all year round. Start your Google Page One journey today with a free online health check by visiting PromoteUKLimited.com. Promote UK. We're really good at what we do.
Are you looking for a little bit more than a good meal at a pub? The Half Moon is a hidden gem located in the picturesque village of Charlwood on the Surrey-Sussex borders. Proud of old traditions, this old English pub offers tasty fresh food with locally sourced ingredients, comfortable dining and traditional bar area, as well as a lovely garden for your enjoyment. Evening with friends or lunch with family, whatever the occasion, you can expect our friendly and welcoming staff to help. Half Moon Charlwood. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming events and live music.
Need to refuel? Whether you're heading home or away, get ahead of the game and refuel at Dorking's Service Centre. Dorking's local retailer of quality BP fuel, Costa coffee and food to go. Find us at the traffic lights close to Dorking Halls or at dorkingservicecentre.com.
From Premiership to Playground, MH Goals has everything you need for an outstanding football match, including aluminium and steel football goals, nets, line marking machines, team shelters, boot wipers, and much more. Buy with confidence direct from the manufacturer with great prices available across our whole range of sports equipment. What's more, we offer fantastic discounts for all FA affiliated clubs. We pride ourselves on British manufacturing. We make all our football goals here in the UK and conform to the latest British and European safety standards. So call MH Goals direct on 01502 711 298 or visit our online store at mhgoals.com.
Head to backofthenetsouth.co.uk tomorrow morning for video highlights and full match reaction of today's games. Back to your favourite non-league football show, powered by Promote UK. We're really good at what we do. Back of the net, where it matters.
So welcome back to the show. Plenty to be getting on with. We've got to talk all about the football that we've been to this week. It's been a real busy one. We've just spoken to Lee Dynam, the Kingstonian manager. We've got Frank Wilson, the Tooting and Mitcham United manager, on the phone. They go up against Kingstonian today. Frank, it's going to be a really fascinating encounter. How are you doing? Good morning.
Yeah, morning everyone. I've just been throwing darts at Lee Dynam's face on my dartboard at home. I've just been practicing for his eyes. So yeah, looking forward to it today.
The way every manager prepares for games, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every manager across the Boston League's got one of the managers that they want to beat on a dartboard somewhere. So yeah. And
life at the club for you, a little bit like the club that we're at today, Worthing, has been good recently. You've had a good turn in form over the last month or so, and you're pleased now. I guess settling into the division was an important thing.
Yeah, definitely. I've said this to you, Ben. I'm sure before that sort of we were not heading into the unknown, but obviously our expectations weren't based on sort of previous experiences because the team hadn't been playing in this division for a number of years. So it took us a while to find our feet. We had circumstances like any other club probably did where things were made a little bit more difficult for us. But I'm pleased to say that now that we've got a little bit more balance and a little bit more settlement in our squad, our fortunes sort of changed a little bit in our favour. We've picked up a few wins now, and we've sort of got more of a blueprint for what we kind of need to do in this division, really. And today's another important game and another difficult game against a strong side.
And as you say, a strong team, got a new manager, and that always makes a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, it does. Whether or not the sort of Kingstonians players are still trying to sort of play for a point, if you like, or play to sort of prove something to Lee at this stage. I know that Lee's been in charge now for a good few weeks and they've had a number of games. But there's certainly going to be a team that's in a form of transition period, aren't they? You know, Lee's taken over. I'm aware of sort of players that he's brought in and some players that have departed the club as well. So they've definitely had a bit of a facelift. And yeah, it's going to be another important game for us today. But we'd like to think that at home we're going to be feeling more confident, and we'll just have to see what the result looks like at 5:00 today.
And you've had a change yourself with an assistant manager. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I know that Whiteleaf Football Club put a press release out last night, I think, about Paul Dale's appointment. And sort of up until that point, we were being respectful, of course, of Paul and of Whiteleaf, of course, because sort of formalities of their announcements and stuff. We had to sort of wait for them to sort of get their things sorted their end. But no, listen, I mean, if Paul's listening to the show, or obviously people that know Paul and I are, then, you know, I've enjoyed a best part of about 2 seasons of working with Paul. Paul's been fantastic for us. You know, my program entry in our home day program today is sort of completely dedicated to Paul and for sort of his services with us. And look, all I can do is wish him all the best. I think that Whyteleafe have got an excellent appointment there. I think that John Scarborough is a young manager, no different to myself. I think that he's got someone working alongside him now with a lot of experience, not necessarily at coaching or managing at this level of football, but, you know, Paul's going to bring with him, you know, high quality, great coaching, you know, and obviously Paul's experiences from winning the cup and winning the league with us here at Tooting is going to take Whyteleafe a long way. So I think it's a really good appointment for them, and I hope that, you know, they reap the rewards of it, because, you know, I like Whyteleafe Football Club. You know, Lee Dynan is a friend of mine. I was very supportive of Lee when he was a manager there, and I'll be equally as supportive of Whyteleafe now Paul's gone there.
And have you replaced him yet? Have you thought about a short list to replace him?
No, Ben, other than you, when I phoned you in the week and offered you the job, I haven't thought any further past it at the minute. No, I think, to be honest, and Paul will understand this as well, you know, our primary focus this week was this game of football today and our game of football on Tuesday at home to Margate. So no disrespect to Paul, but, you know, my job this week has been to sort of get the focus back into the squad. You know, obviously it's disappointing that Paul left, but the job has to be to get the team prepared for the 2 games of football that we've got over this weekend and obviously Tuesday. So I think after Tuesday next week, you know, I'll be sitting down with the club and we'll be thinking more consciously towards, you know, what the next moves are, and then we'll give it some time and some dedication then. But the sort of preparation this week has just been about today and Tuesday's game.
Frank, can I just step in here? First and foremost, you're getting another chance to beat me in this league table business, so you're getting too many chances here. And the next one is, I'm shocked that's news to me. I never even heard that, and sort of like the football sort of like line behind the scenes where you hear things. I never heard that at all, so that's quite intriguing. I mean, what's Paul's background other than just obviously he worked with you as an assistant manager, and obviously he's a very respected type coach. Having said that, I've had a few players ring me that they thought the coaching on Thursday night went downhill quick, but anyway, just moving on a little bit from that. You know, can you just give us a little bit of an insight? Obviously, I haven't seen that on Twitter announced officially and what have you, so I've missed that. But just give us a little bit of a background in Paul, what he's done, and is John Scarborough going to be helping him do it as an assistant manager?
Well, as far as I'm aware, and I'll be corrected if it's not 100% accurate by Whyteleafe's press release that they put out. Paul has joined Whyteleafe on a co-manager's role. So both John and Paul will sort of co-manage the side down at Whyteleafe. I mean, Paul's background is predominantly in coaching. So Paul's an A-licensed coach, and whilst he's been serving in the military, and that's Paul's background. You know, he's served for many years in the army, based at Aldershot. Paul was manager and head coach of the Army's under-23 side prior to sort of that, or during that period. And when I brought Paul in here at Tooting, Paul was the first team coach at Godalming Town Football Club. And the reason that I brought Paul in and wanted to bring Paul in, Mick, is because actually as a player, before I took over at Tooting, sort of last couple of seasons of playing non-league football, I went down to Godalming and done a few training sessions, and that was my first exposure of Paul. And I just really liked his coaching style and his technique, you know. And I just thought that at that time I was making the transition into coaching or management myself, and I just thought that when the vacancy opened up, and then I had a sort of decision to bring someone into Tooting, I inquired about Paul because I could just sort of. I just sensed that it would be a good relationship, you know, and I wasn't wrong in that. And, you know, we've worked really well together since I brought Paul in. But his background, to answer your question, has been sort of coaching and some management within the Army and the younger age group sides in the Army. But I think that for Paul, the next step in his career and where he kind of wants to take his direction is he wants to be a manager. and I don't disagree with that, and I think it'll be a good one. So I think that was the sort of step in the right direction for Paul, and he looked at this opportunity as one to take, and he'll be working as a sort of coalition at Whiteleaf with John Scarborough.
Yeah, we wish him and John all the best of luck, as we do with Whiteleaf as well. We watch that with interest, of course. Right, we're going to get on to Mick versus the manager, which, Frank, you're going to get another go at. We're going to kick off today with Enfield Town against Thurrock. 19th in the Bostik Premier. Enfield have accumulated 16 points out of just 13 games so far this season, with the exception of Merstham, who have a goal difference of 1. They're the only side in the bottom half of the table not to have a negative goal difference, scoring 22 and conceding 22. However, the side have only won 2 of their last 5 games, the last of which being a 3-2 defeat to Staines Town, where Max Walsfold netted an 88th minute winner. A series of cup fixtures gave the side a 2-week league break in November, losing to Hampton and Richmond Borough in the Middlesex County Cup, but defeating Cheshunt in round 2 of the Velocity Trophy on Tuesday night. Thurrock is 16th in the league, having played 15 games and taking 18 points. The Fleet responded to a 4-1 thrashing at the hands of league side Colchester in the Essex Cup, with a 2-0 and 3-0 wins over Harrow and Lowestoft respectively. Prior to these victories, however, Thurrock were only on a 6-game winless streak, league and cup. So what do you make of this one? Frank, we'll get you to go first. Enfield against Thurrock today.
Yeah, not an easy one to call, this one. I've noticed Thurrock have picked up a couple of wins in their last couple of games. They had a good win against Lowestoft. I think they won 3-0. I'm going to go 1-1. 1-1.
Yeah, I think Enfield I'd agree with a lot of those comments there. That Thurrock have picked their game up the last couple of games and a couple of decent wins, and Enfield has sort of evened out a little bit, which I'm surprised about. But I think on their home ground, I think they will nick it 2-1 or. Yeah, I'll go 2-1. Enfield.
Remy's going to do the rest of them as she usually does. We did have to change the first fixture that we had. Obviously, you're replacing Adam today, Frank, on Mick versus the manager, because the first game we did have was Tooting and Mitcham against Kingstonian. So obviously we had to take that one out. But Remy's got the rest of the fixtures.
Okay, I'm not going to do a Glenn Tamplin and start saying we're going to.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, we won't talk about that one. I'll tell you after 5 o'clock. I'll give you a call.
Okay, so our second game of the day is Met Police and Dulwich Hamlet. So it's a top of the table clash in the Bostik Premier as Met Police host Dulwich. The Hamlet are currently in pole position with 39 points, just behind the Met with 35. Both sides are undefeated in their recent 10 league encounters. However, Dulwich fare the better side in form with 9 wins and 1 draw, comparing to Met Police's 8 wins and 2 draws.
Frank, do you want to go first again?
Yeah, what a game, by the way.
Jim would be listening to this as well, Frank. Not that it should make any difference, but I know he listens to this.
I actually think. Listen, I think Jim is fantastic, and I hope you are listening, Jim.
Gavin might be listening too.
I don't know. I've just got this gut feeling that Dulwich are going to win. I think it's going to be a really, really close game, but I can see Dulwich winning today 2-1. Sorry, Jim.
And you know what? I really want Met Police to do so well, and obviously I like Jim immensely, but I've just got a feeling that could be the same result as well. So, look, Jim, look at it this way. Look at this as some motivation to your boys in the dressing room, because I'm just going to follow him with a 2-1 Dulwich win.
Fantastic. And game 3 is Lewes versus Thamesmead Town. A goalless draw for Lewes midweek to Whiteleaf saw Corinthian Casuals level on points and narrow the goal difference to just 2 at the top of the table in the Bostik South. The Rooks do, however, remain with a game in hand. As for 10th place Thamesmead, they bounced back from their 1-0 defeat in the FA Trophy to Met Police with a 5-2 win over Phoenix Sport, who prior to the encounter positioned 1 place higher. So Lewes are at home to Thamesmead Town. Mick, do you want to go first on this one?
Right, I fancy, to be fair, Thamesmead Town are not a bad side, and Lewes are bang on form. Lewes being at home, you'd say probably should win it. I fancy a draw on this, so I think there'll be goals in it. I fancy 2-2 draw.
I think Lewes are going to win this one today. I haven't seen or heard too much about Thamesmead, but I actually I've tipped Lewis, and I said at the start of the season I think Lewis are either going to win the division this year or come second. I definitely fancy him for promotion. So I think Lewis are going to be strong today at home. I'm looking at the conditions outside as well, and if it's anything like it's here in Fulham, I think that's going to go in Lewis's favour. I think Lewis are going to win 2-0.
2-0, perfect. And our final game is Heybridge Swifts versus Dereham Town. So Dereham Town are currently top of the Bostik North after collecting 36 points in 18 games. And in midweek, they defeated Bury Town 2-0 to give them their first win in 3. Previously lost to Haringey Borough and Whittam Town and drew with Romford. As for the host, Heybridge Swifts are currently 11th in the division, despite playing 10 games fewer than Dereham Town. Swifts have only conceded 5 times in the league, winning 7 of their 8 games. So they've played 10 games fewer. They've played the fewest of any Bostik team, and they've got a massive mountain to climb with their fixtures. But they're at home to top of the league, Dereham.
What do you think, Mick?
Difficult West one, very difficult with Dereham doing so well, and obviously we know how good Heybridge Swifts are. You know, you'd naturally think maybe a draw would be the right result for that, but I just think maybe Heybridge Swifts maybe will nick it by a goal, so I'll go 2-1.
2-1. And Frank?
Absolutely no idea. I'm gonna go with Dereham Town because they're at home, and I'm gonna say Dereham Town 1-0.
Dereham Town are away.
Yeah.
Are they away?
Yeah.
Well, I did start the conversation by saying absolutely no idea. So I'm gonna reverse that then, and I'm gonna say Heybridge Swifts 1-0.
Okay.
Home team 1-0.
Locked in.
It's a very interesting situation. We should mention that now, actually, that Heybridge Swifts, we said at the start of the show, they've played 10 games less than Dereham that are at the top. They've played 8 games left, 7 games less than Canvey Island, who are second. What a position to be in, Frank, to have won 7 out of your 8 games, but only played 8 in the league, and the teams at the top have played 15 plus. Yeah,
brilliant. Look, it's not too dissimilar, is it, to Billericay in our league? They're accumulating games in hand, obviously based on their cup success. But I think it's difficult for teams like that. I've got to be honest, because although they can, obviously mathematically, they can change the outcome and obviously go top of the league if they win all their games in hand. I think it's difficult for teams that have had good cut runs to then try and catch up and sort of start to accumulate those points. But great position for them to be in. But if they're going to do well in that division this year, as we've already sort of seen, then they're going to need to really focus with those games in hand and make sure they turn them into points. So be interesting to see how they get on, yeah.
Have either of you two guys ever been in that position, Mick or Frank? Have you ever had that many games to make up?
We've never had a good cut run.
Well, we've
had rubbish cut runs, so no. But I don't know if Mick has. Mick, it's been such a long time since you was a manager. What was it like?
Yeah, I know. But I'm enjoying this media stuff, Frank. I know you were born to be media, mate. I tell you. So when you're out of the job, if you ever are, I think the team would be welcoming you on board. But I just think, I have had this happen because obviously I'm a sort of major believer in having good cup runs because I think it sort of keeps the continuity and the winning mentality in the thing. So I've always put strong sides out in the cups. That's why I've done so well in the past. So I have gone games behind. I've just been lucky that I've not picked up injuries in those times, and I've been able to sort of just make up those games and got through it. But I've probably won the lucky ones.
I have to say, Frank Tooting and Mitcham did make an approach for you, Mick, but we turned it down. So
yeah, we put a 7 there in, but
thanks,
so
mate.
Wages are too high. Listen, Frank, thanks ever so much for joining us and stepping in for Adam and playing Mick versus the manager today. And we should say we will see you soon because we're going to see you for our FA Cup. Wickham versus Leatherheads on Sunday the 3rd of December. Frank will be part of our team for that game, and indeed we'll be seeing you later on as we cover the game against Dorking Wanderers as well. So plenty for you to get involved in the coming weeks. Frank, best of luck today against Kingstonian and get back to that dartboard.
Yeah, I will. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Frank. Always nice to get Frank Wilson on the show, and it's going to be competitive today. There's some good predictions in there for Mick versus the manager. Some really good stuff. Right, we're going to turn our attention now to what happened on Thursday night. An absolutely entertaining evening, Mick Sullivan. It was fantastic to be there, to watch the game. It was by far better than the first game between Leatherhead and Billericay in the FA Cup a week or so earlier.
I just think also an evening FA Cup game live on BT Sport sort of adds to all that mix as well. I think that's what gave it a bit of an excitement. I always think cup games in the evening are better than just mid-afternoon type of, or sort of early sort of 12 o'clock kickoffs, which we had to endure at Merstham the season before. I just think it creates that little bit of atmosphere. And of course, Glenn Tamlin being Glenn Tamlin, and you know, not taking anything away from Mary Wheeler, but Glenn Tamlin, the way he's been outspoken, I in fact love the fact that he actually spoke out and said that you know, they'd trollop Leatherhead and beat them 5-0 in the next, because I think that helped everything. I think that helped the attendance. I think it gave everything more. It helped all us media guys sort of talk that game up, and but obviously it gave a lot of motivation to obviously my beloved Leatherhead. Like, you know what I mean? Leatherhead obviously thought long and hard about that. I think their supporters really made a big thing about it on Twitter, and I think that motivated their boys. But I think people keep forgetting Leatherhead Football Club, probably any other team that played Billericay on that night wouldn't have had as much experience as what Leatherhead have got in their side, and I think they sort of like played the game really, really well, and you know, deserved everything they got on the night.
Yeah, let's just take you back to the moment. Obviously, Leatherhead were 2-1 up, but that moment that really sealed it. And if you're a Leatherhead fan, you're going to love this.
Equivalent, and he's played in more games than Theobald, so perhaps I agree with that.
We'll give it to Henry to make the deciding factor, Blackman or Theobald. In fact, Leatherhead are coming through now, and the flag stayed down. This could be the third goal. Good save. Could it be Wood, the substitute, on his left foot? Could he finish it off? Wood. It's the keeper. It's a brilliant save by Julian again. Comes to Midson. Midson plays it to Moore. Moore on his right foot, and it's the third for Leatherhead. And they are into the FA Cup second round. Sammy Moore finishes it off, takes his shirt off, twists it around his head. Zaki comes out of the goal. All the Leatherhead players go over towards him. It's madness on the bench. And it is Sammy Moore, the player manager for the visitors tonight, finishing the game off with Leatherhead's third goal. They had plenty of men.
So what a moment that was, and Mick, you punched the air alongside us, and you've made no bones about the fact that obviously a Leatherhead fan. But for football in the Bostik leagues, guys, it's absolutely brilliant to see A, that game happen, and B, the way it happened.
I think it was quite weird how it was portrayed, because at the end of the day they were both in the same league. I know there's quite a difference between where Billericay are at and Leatherhead are at, but at the start of the season when we went to see Billericay versus Leatherhead were right up there, and it's only since coming into the FA Cup run that they have started to suffer in the league. And I think they're going to be absolutely fine this season. It was almost as if Billericay were two divisions above Leatherhead.
And I have to say, we were talking about the accumulation of games. Leatherhead have been involved in those competitions as well, and perhaps why Leatherhead have slipped down the league and Billericay maybe haven't is because of the squad sizes. But actually on their day, when 11 go up against 11, it's been proved that they're every bit as good.
They are, but I think since the last few weeks, I think Glenn has added to that squad with even better players. So I was talking to one of the Billericay guys after the game, and you know, he said there's probably 7 players that didn't play in that FA Cup game Thursday night that would be playing in their league starting lineup. That's quite awesome.
They were cup tied.
That's quite awesome. Yeah.
So
and so that says a lot about what Billericay are about. But you know, not taking anything away, I think Leatherhead, I think they've made their minds up. If they finish mid-table, that'd be a good job done. Good FA Cup run, which they've achieved. For first season for Sammy and Jack would be a decent season for them.
I think it was quite interesting as well to see how they only made one substitution, and that was in probably time wasting in the 88th minute. Whereas Billericay, obviously they made 2 at half time to change their tactics, but they used all 3. You know, they've got the squad depth, but Leatherhead only one change.
Yeah, but I also have got an opinion on that as well. I think it's a very difficult task when you've got the manager and the assistant manager playing, and you've got people on the sidelines making big key decisions. You know, even I would wince a little bit what to do, and it didn't go right, you know. But I suppose they've got the chairman, Richard Brady, is always there to step in if required as well.
Let's hear from Sammy Moore, the Leatherhead player manager, scored that 3rd goal, and we caught up with him after the game. He's obviously delighted.
Unbelievable. You know, I'm speechless. I think over the 2 legs, the best team won. I thought we come here tonight and I thought we was outstanding. I thought Sammy Blackman, Yanis at the back, you know, not only just them two but everyone put an absolute shift in. Everyone was unbelievable. You know, it's probably one of the proudest moments in football. You know, it's even sweeter when BT are down here and yourselves are down here. And you know, we just look forward to Wickham now. It's a nice day out. Financially for the football club is unbelievable. You know, I put foundations into the football club when I first come in, and we're starting to see that. pay. I use my contacts in the Football League to get proper players in, and we've got proper players. When we turn up, no one can match us, and we've got to take this confidence into the league now. On our day, no one can match us.
And you're even more delighted the fact that you shaded the first half, and we came out the second half. I wondered how Billericay might react to that, and you just seemed to shift up another few gears in the second half as well. Yeah, we done a match analysis on Tuesday. We had a look at the DVD. We knew they'd go back to the front very quickly, and I thought we dealt with that. We knew exactly their game plan. They matched us up, and I thought that showed respect to Leatherhead, because it just shows that we caused them problems in the first leg. Second half, the longer the game went on, I knew we'd have legs on them. They played a lot of games, and they played Tuesday night, and to go behind here is a tough place to come. Don't get me wrong. When you go 1-0 down here, you've got to show real character, and the boys showed unbelievable character tonight. To come 1-0 down, and to win 3-1 convincingly in the end was unbelievable. This is what Knights are made of. The FA Cup's made of underdogs. Speaking to Danny Cowley earlier, he said just give everything. You never know in football, and it's paid off tonight. And we had a bit of trouble in the commentary choosing a man of the match, because the team performance tonight was exceptional. Yeah, listen, everyone. I wanted a reaction from Saturday. We went to the FA Trophy and 2-0 up and was cruising, and we let sloppy goals in, and I want a reaction. The boys knew how big the game was tonight. It was on telly. I said I don't want no regrets. I want you to give everything. I want you to run that extra yard. If there's a tackle to be made, you make that tackle and you come out on top. And the boys were unbelievable. The boys at the back dealt with their aerial threat. The boys in midfield won the second balls. And I thought Jack Midson and Niall up front, give us a real platform to build from. And that was amazing. You've got vast experience, obviously, in the Football League. Tell us what it means for a Bostik League club to be heading to the likes of Wycombe Wanderers in the next round. Unbelievable. If someone said to me when I first took over this job in the summer that we'd make the second round of the FA Cup, I'd have bit their hand off. And we've actually done it going to some top sides. We haven't had an easy route. We went to Margate. Everyone writ us off when we went to Margate. Everyone writ us off when we come here. All the talk was about them in the build-up, and we just went quietly about our business. And I knew if we turned up tonight, we'd win. And we turned up, and to go 1-0 down makes it even sweeter, because it just shows what character and what players I've got in my squad, and we can really build from this now. Yeah, absolutely delighted, and he's full of passion, Mick, and the job he's done to get them into the FA Cup second round, phenomenal. Actually, I didn't hear it so much that night, and yeah, he had a bit between his teeth. He felt quite upset by what was said before the game, and obviously that rallied the troops. And I obviously don't know what was said in the dressing room, but it must have been mentioned the fact that Glenn had made mockery of Leatherhead, that they would smash them 5-0. So it's an easy team talk, but my one worry as a sort of pundit and medium guy and sort of Leatherhead supporter as such is the fact that if Sammy doesn't play, who is going to take his position and orchestrate that midfield and come to that even Jack? I know they've got a lot of experience in there, but I'm not so sure if one of them are not playing whether it really affects that team. So hopefully Sammy and Jack have got a ready-made replacement for both of them. Right, we're going to let's bring Remy and Luke back in, because we're going to predict the next round, because this is what everyone loves to do in football. We're going to have a quick prediction of the next game. Massive tie as well. Wycombe Wanderers to get that prize of a league team, which you're always going to get at this stage. And Rem, you've seen Wycombe recently. You saw them play Crawley last season. It's a lovely ground. It's going to be a great occasion. Yeah, I think Crawley and Wycombe are actually playing each other today as well. I saw them last season. Adams Park's a great venue. I'm really looking forward to seeing the main stand. It's very high, and yeah, it's great. We'll probably be opposite it, so we'll get a nice view of that and the football, and hopefully a packed out stadium. I'd love to say, it's going to be a Leatherhead win. But I think if I write them off, they'll win. If I say they're going to win, they won't win. So it's one of those. I think they'll really give Wycombe a good go. When I did see them, they lost. I think it was either 2-1 or 2-0 to Crawley, and it was very easy goals. One of the goals was from a set piece, and with Sammy Moore's foot, if he gets a free kick in the right area, it's going to go in 9 times out of 10. I think very, very good.
a lot of I think the Leatherhead defence will not quite know what to do, perhaps with Akinfenwa if he's going to start. But I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think there'll be one goal in it either side. But I don't think it's going to go to replay. That's my prediction, that it will be decided on that day. One goal in it, and it could go either way.
Mick, you're obviously going to be really impartial for this game.
I will always on the night. I will be, but when we do these pre-shows, I have to let people know.
But it's just so nice. You mentioned at the start for a Bostik club to be in this position, and obviously covering the Bostik leagues this year. We wish them every luck, and we hope they can do it and get through to the third round, which then opens you up to a huge amount of clubs. But what do they have to do from a football point of view? What do they have to do on that day? They're going to come up against better players, full-time players, fitter players. What can you do as a manager to prepare yourself? You managed a team that went and played Oxford United. It's a similar occasion for Leatherhead.
I think Hayden played different tactics that particular day, but moving back to Leatherhead game plan for Wickham, I would say it's like anything. We spoke about it prior to the game on Thursday night. You've got to keep yourself in the game, particularly for the first 15-20 minutes, and particularly they're the away team. So you've got to keep the home crowd quiet. And I would say, and I think Leatherhead had it bang on, they packed the midfield area out. They had their lone runner in Jack Midson, who run tirelessly up there on his own. Actually a fantastic front man. And they probably need someone to support him a little bit more, but they just packed the midfield out and just stayed solid as best they can. And if they could get the ball in behind and just give themselves some breathing space for that first 15-20 minutes, I think when the 15-20 minutes sort of gets to, I think they can settle and start passing and moving, which with those type of players, we've got to keep remembering Leatherhead have got probably up there with Billericay for the most experienced players at the levels they played at in the Bostik League, which says everything about the Bostik League. We're promoting Bostik League this year, and it's really good to see Nick and Craig there supporting the teams on the night, and and us ourselves promoting this league. And hopefully people don't realise that they don't need to go and watch professional football to actually see a decent game of football, because I think the Bostik League can provide it as well.
And Luke, you're an Arsenal fan. You've made no bones about that, and we could see Leatherhead come up against Arsenal in the third round if they can get past Wickham. Yeah,
and they have a good chance of beating them. I agree with what both of them said. Sammy Moore has got a fantastic right foot, and they should really exploit those free kicks, especially with Jack Midson. The link-up play between the two of them in all situations is fantastic. And the worry is that Jack Midson does get isolated on his own up top, but he can hold the ball up so well and create chances from nothing. So they've really got to make sure they use the experience of those two, and of course, being manager and assistant, they will.
Right, let's hear from Harry Wheeler, the Billericay joint manager, and we caught up with him after the game yesterday as well. So Harry, a frustrating night for Billericay. What are your thoughts on the game?
Puzzling why we dropped off so much once we scored. Wasn't something that we instructed from the side. We felt as soon as we scored that we started dropping, so we tried to be more positive and go for it more, and it seemed to I think it backfired. I think they deserved it, and we've got to take this one on the chin.
Did you make those changes at half time because you felt you needed extra impetus in the game?
I felt Konchesky had a man marking job to do, and it was it allowed the others left a little bit exposed, so we need a little bit more legs in there and a bit more tenacity, and Danny Waldron brings that, and I felt that bit worked for a while, so we got in the lead from the changes we made. So we can't use the changes of it, but it just didn't work for us in the end.
And much is made obviously of what Billericay want to achieve this season with the league. You're in the other cup competitions as well. Sometimes when you look at it, not having the extra games may help you in the league.
It's going to help, but there's always a shining light. I mean, having so many games like that, obviously it'd be nice to have one less now. But obviously we'd have taken the win. If we win the game, we'd have taken the win. But look, the league fixtures are obviously piling up. We've got 7 in hand, and some we've got 8 in hand over one of them. So we know we've got to catch up on them, but at the same time, we've got to do more. And we've got to not use any excuses, and we've got to rotate the squad. And 5 players that weren't available today are available on Saturday, so they'll come in and we'll be straight fresh, and hopefully we'll go and win the game Saturday.
Final one for me is just about the midfield in the first half. You played obviously Konchesky and Pennant in there, perhaps not the positions that they've always been used to playing. Is that something that you'd have changed if you could have done it again?
No, not necessarily. I think Konchesky's best games have been in there, better than they've been at the back. Pennant played there on Saturday and got man of the match and was excellent. Come on in the last leg against them in midfield and was excellent. So we can't say that. I think maybe in hindsight we're maybe too attacking after the goal, but apart from that, it's easy. Hindsight's the easiest thing afterwards.
We'll not talk too much more about this game, but just a final thought on that. Pennant in the midfield with Konchesky. A lot's been made of that in the press afterwards.
Well, 2 points of view. I can understand what Harry said. Obviously, they're professional players who should be able to play that position, and he's never going to do them down publicly, is he? But I think what Mark White said in our co-commentating role of the game, I felt that both those people, Paul and Pennant, should have done better. They're centre midfield players of that, quality. He suggested that's not their natural positions. They play for their clubs, which I totally get. But we look at the level of footballs that they're dropping down to from where they come from. They should have done so much better for Billericay on the night. And I felt Billericay went a bit too direct, even though that's their game plan. I think they could have played through the midfield, through Sam Deering a lot more, and then he come off early, so they lost that option. But we move on to another game, and that one's done and dusted, so we move on to the next one.
And we're going to play our new game next, Super Sub, which we've done for the last few weeks. And you can join in, official BOTN, let us know how you get on. It's the game is all about saying the wrong answer, substituting the right answer for the wrong answer. Delighted to say that we're going to be speaking to Michael Campbell, who's joined us on the phone. Michael, very good afternoon to you. Michael, you on the phone? We did have Michael on there. Michael, you there? No, I'm sure Michael was there. Hello, Michael, you there? Okay. Maybe not. So Michael's not there. Never mind. We'll see if we can get him back on. I've also got Jack Barham playing today as well. Mick, you seem to have a go at this each week, and are you thinking in your head the answers that you can substitute?
It's difficult, more difficult than what you believe, and it'd be interesting to see how these two guys get on today. But obviously, just putting it out there, obviously, if there's any other sort of Bostik League players or from all divisions at any level that want to come on the show and try and win the league table, let's hope we may be able to give them some sort of award or prize of the back of the net at the end of the season, Ben. But it's good fun as well, and who knows, these boys might only last for 10, 15 seconds today, so there's no pressure on you, Michael, if it's yourself, or Jack even when he comes on in a minute.
Yeah, and hopefully now we have Michael back on. Michael, you there? Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, Michael. Right, I can hear you now. You're back on. How's everything going with you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
And are you up for, you know the rules of Super Sub?
Well, I basically got to answer the questions wrong, yeah?
Yeah, you need to answer them. Whatever you do, you just need to give me a wrong answer. And we're gonna time you as well. We're gonna get the stopwatch ready to go.
All right.
So, Super Sub, you ready? Here we go. Your time starts now. Name a Premier League side.
Colchester.
Who is the England manager?
Roy Hodgson.
Who takes charge of a football match?
The referee.
Who takes charge of a football match?
I meant to say the manager.
How many players are in a football team?
Sorry, how many?
How many players are in a football team?
12.
Name a team who have never won the FA Cup.
Colchester.
Name a team who have never won the FA Cup.
Sutton United.
A team that have never won the FA Cup? Have they won the FA Cup?
Sutton United.
Complete the team name. Billericay.
City.
Name an Arsenal legend.
Harry Kane.
Who is the Premier League all-time goal scorer? Who is the Premier League's all-time goal scorer? Greatest goal scorer.
Martin Keown.
Good answer. Where are penalties taken from?
The centre circle.
Who sponsors the Premier League?
Santander.
Good answer at the end there. Right, okay, thank you very much. Let's stop the clock. You did it in 1 minute and 20 seconds. And we have the answers that you've given. There's some really interesting ones as well.
So it's actually harder than it comes across.
Okay, so we started by asking you to name a Premier League side. You said Colchester, which was great. Who's the England manager? Roy Hodgson. Obviously, it's Gareth Southgate. Who takes charge of a football match? Second attempt, you said a manager. See, that way it was difficult, isn't it, to get the right answer?
Yeah.
12 players in a football team. Name a team who have never won the FA Cup. Now, I don't think Sutton United have won the FA Cup. So we should have probably added on some seconds.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah, sorry. I completely heard that question wrong. I thought you were saying a team that had won it.
No, that's okay. Because when I asked that question the second time, all of my colleagues here today looked at me as if to say, it's fine, Michael has given a correct answer. And obviously, you could have said Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, etc., etc. And it even stumps the producers. Name a team who've never won the FA Cup. Complete the team name. Billericay, you said City. Arsenal legend, Harry Kane. What an answer that is. Best answer we've had so far. Martin Keown as the Premier League's all-time greatest goal scorer.
Or card getter, one of the two.
Yeah, there we go. Where are penalties taken from? The centre circle. Maybe they should be. Maybe that should be the thing. And who sponsors the Premier League? Santander. Mick, you want to add something?
Well, yeah, just want to speak to Michael, just while we've got you on, Michael, to see how Three Bridges are going to do this year. We like to sort of promote these sort of Step 5 sides. Obviously, I know Paul really well, and Liam's down there, who I know well. What are the odds on Three Bridges coming back up into the Bostik South this coming season, or next season?
For the team we've got, for the talent we've got there, and I know the team chemistry we have as well, I do strongly believe we'll go straight back up. Obviously, that's the aim as well. You're going to have a few hiccups because teams seem to perform a lot better against, I don't know if you're known as so-called favourites, they seem to perform a lot better against you. So we've got to kind of be on our game, every game, no matter who we're playing. So, yeah, but I do think we'll go straight back up. That's my genuine opinion.
Michael, thank you ever so much for playing Super Sub today. We'll put you on our leaderboard. You are in third position, and best of luck today and for the rest of the season, Michael.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, mate.
Well
done. Next up, playing Super Sub is Jack Barham. Jack, very good afternoon to you. Hello, Jack. Good afternoon. We seem to have a little bit of difficulty today getting people on. Jack, are you there? Hello, Jack. Not sure what's happened to Jack, but he was there a moment ago, but we'll get him back on. Not seem to having the luck today of getting people on. Mick, we're talking there about, obviously, a player now we're trying to get on that we saw recently play extremely well at Whyteleafe, and you were very impressed with.
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, we gave him man of the match on that day, and he's gone from strength to strength. Obviously, he was at Phoenix Sports the start of this season when we saw him early doors against Dorking, if you remember, in a pre-season friendly. And basically, we saw him for Greenwich against Whyteleafe on that day, and he was outstanding. And then I happened to go and watch Greenwich against Carshalton on the Monday, and then I noticed Neil Harris was there for Millwall, and so he's obviously been watching him. So I don't know how his trialling's been going on at Millwall this last few weeks, but hopefully he's done well, and maybe they've allowed him to carry on playing for Greenwich and Gary Alexander for the rest of this season, and perhaps he might go to Millwall and earn himself a professional contract. All
right, Jackie there. Good afternoon. I think we've got Jack with us. Getting ready for the game today, Jack? We're having real difficulty getting Jack on. You might have to play for him, Mick. Jack, you there? No, not sure what's happened to Jack. Right, we'll move on. But unfortunately, we couldn't quite make contact. Perhaps he's getting ready for today's game. Okay, next up, we're going to hear from Neil Simons. He's the Dereham Town manager. We mentioned them earlier. They were in the predictions today as well. They're sitting top of the Bostik North division, and I caught up with him on Friday. What a fantastic season for you at Dereham Town so far. Top of the Bostik North, 36 points in 18 games. Is that something you're expecting at the start of the season? I'm guessing not.
No expectation at all. However, we're delighted with the way we've started. It's a really interesting league this year, very strong, and I think that probably helps that we approach every game knowing how strong the league is, and we've certainly had to, and our results have proved that we can stand up to the league, definitely.
And you scored 32 goals this season as well, so that must be pleasing on its own.
Yeah, we've brought in a lot of forward players this year. It just felt right. Some became available, some have come through our own system. Some we've got from local lower divisions, and it all seems to have played. What's equally pleasing with that is there isn't one person standing out amongst the group. They're all chipping in. They celebrate the goal as a group of players. So they're all in it together, which is extremely pleasing.
So tell me what the target was at the beginning of the season. What were the thought processes before a ball was kicked?
In all honesty, there was no targets, and I mean that. It was, with it being such a transition. Obviously, I've been with the club a long time, and I was Matt's number 2. But with Matt leaving in the summer, and a number of player turnover, there was no expectation. It was just obviously the promotion and relegation changed this year as well, so that took a little bit of pressure off at the bottom end of the table. So it was literally just go out and play and see where it takes us. And at the moment, it's taken us on a lovely journey.
And that journey, I'm sure you're hoping, will continue as the season goes along. But where do you think you might be able to, or what do you think you might be able to achieve this season, having seen the first 18 games?
I'm under no illusions that it's still November. I've been in this league for a number of years now. I know how relentless it is, how difficult it can be. However, if it is for us, it is for everybody. So this is the first season we got off to the start we have. And now we're up there. We certainly aren't showing any signs and don't want to travel back down the league. We want to be up there for as long as we possibly can. We'll strengthen when needed. We're absolutely delighted.
And looking ahead to this weekend, you're away to Heybridge Swifts, who've had a great run in the FA Cup themselves. They're 11th in the division, but they've obviously been playing quite a lot of cup games. How do you think that game will go?
It's I would say our hardest game of the season to date, especially at their place. They're I think unbeaten at home in the league, I would suggest. But we go there with no fear. As I said, we've got 4 players who can score goals. I know Jody came and watched us last week at Whittam. We had a chat with him. So, again, all their players are people we know. They're people we've come across over the last 4 or 5 years we've been in the division. So hopefully we can set ourselves up right. The biggest bonus for us is the playing surface there is always very good. So we know we can go and play football and may the best team win on the day.
Have your say. Get in touch on social media. Just search official BOTN.
Neil Simmons, the Dereham Town manager. We'll talk about Neil and Dereham Town as they deservedly need us to, because they're top of the league. But let's first of all go to the phone lines, and Jack, I think, is there now. Jack, good afternoon to you.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, got you on at last.
Yeah, finally working.
Worth the wait, I hope. Who are you playing today, Jack?
I'm not too sure, actually.
You're on the way to the game. You're not too sure who you're playing. That's how nonchalantly you are about it.
I thought you meant like on the line.
No. Just which team are you playing?
Horsham.
Okay, and is that at Horsham?
No, it's at home today.
Okay.
You sure? You sure it's not at Horsham?
And how's the season going for you? Obviously, we saw you a couple of weeks ago, and you look to be in decent form.
Yeah, it's going really well to me. I think I've got to the best start I've possibly had, and obviously it's really good for me because the past couple of seasons I've had quite a lot of injuries. So this season, not have any injuries at all, and sort of get off to a good start. It's like the best possible thing for me.
Okay, we're going to get you to play Super Sub. I don't know if you heard before. We just played it. We're going to give you the same questions. The idea is that you give us a substitution. You give us a wrong answer and not a right one. Are you up for this?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm up for it.
We are accumulating a leaderboard of players across the Bostik League. So do we know the time that he's got to get onto first place? 55 seconds you need to do it in. Okay, so Jack, here we go with Super Sub. Your time starts now. Name a Premier League side.
Cheltenham.
Who is the England manager?
Sir Alex Ferguson.
Who takes charge of a football match?
Referee.
Who takes charge of a football match?
Manager.
How many players are in a football team?
12.
Name a team who have never won the FA Cup.
Leeds.
Complete the team name. Billericay.
Spartans.
Name an Arsenal legend.
Jermaine Defoe.
Who is the Premier League's all-time greatest goal scorer?
Harry Kane.
Where are penalties taken from?
The goal kick spot.
Who sponsors the Premier League?
Guinness.
Good answer. Right, stop the clock there. You did it in 1 minute and 6 seconds. We have asked this question a lot, but it's a lot harder when you're playing, isn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking. I was trying to think of not the right answer.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tester. The Premier League side, you went with Cheltenham. Alex Ferguson for England manager. I wonder where they could have been if he would have actually been the England manager. How many players in a football team? 12. Who takes charge of a football match? The manager. Name a team who have never won the FA Cup. You said Leeds. They, of course, did win it. I can't remember the last time they won it, though. Is it 70-something? 8 might have been. Leeds fans, let us know. Complete the team name, Billericay Spartans, like that. Arsenal legend, Defoe. We probably could have been, actually. Similar maybe to Ian Wright with his goal-scoring abilities. All-time greatest goal scorer. Are you a Tottenham fan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe one day it will be Harry Kane. And Guinness, the sponsors of the Premier League. I like that. I could see that happening as well. Listen, Jack, thanks ever so much for coming on today and playing Super Sub. We put you onto our leaderboards. What position is he in third now? Joint second. Joint second's not bad. That's all right.
That's not too bad. I'll take that.
Jack, it's Mick Sullivan here. Just for our listeners and that, how's the trialling been going on down at Millwall? Has that been going well?
Oh yeah, it went really well, to be fair. It's just the fact that like training with players sort of like Morrison, Gregory, like it's different, to be fair, like a bit different to non-league, and I've never really been on trial at that, like sort of at a championship side before. So for me, it was a really good experience. They're going to keep an eye on me in the next couple of weeks, but it's hard for me because for me to keep going in, I've got to work as well. So it's hard really to earn money and sort of go on trial as well, because obviously I'll be losing money. So obviously they take that into consideration. They're going to keep an eye on me over the next couple of weeks.
Well, back of the net team here, wish you all the best, and obviously good luck with Greenwich today against Horsham. Obviously I know the manager down there, so I'm rather hoping it ends up a draw, but I'm sure he'd rather the 3 points.
Yeah, good luck, Jack, and thanks ever so much for coming on.
That's all right. Thank you for that. Take care.
Jack Barham, of course, in action for Greenwich Borough today against Horsham. And if you are interested as a player and coming on and being part of Super Sub, we're going to get 2 on every week and get our leaderboard going. Then do just get in contact on social media and let us know. Luke, it's a hard game.
I mean, it doesn't look like it from our point of view, but clearly it must be, because some people are struggling to answer some of these questions.
I think I'd like to go at the end of near the end of the season.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I think I might be reasonably okay.
Oh, he said it. He said it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That one question, there's always one in there. Name a team who have never won the FA Cup. And
That's
I realised
that's a tough one.
I realised as I asked it that when they say a team, they said Leeds, and I know Leeds have won it, but you have to. There's that moment there where I didn't have a list of teams that have actually won the FA Cup.
But also, you usually hear a question, name a team that. I would have been quick to have said a team that hadn't, because I would have
totally.
assumed. So
well, that's what we had in the first one.
That's a tough question.
Sutton were given as an answer, and I think it flummoxed everybody here as well. Okay, we need to talk a little bit. Obviously, we got Jack on the phone, Mick, but we heard from Neil Simmons, the Dereham Town manager, and it has to be said, what a job that he's done with them. Completely you couldn't have predicted it. You know, they weren't recommended to be up there at the beginning of the season, and he's done so well with them.
First and foremost, I was just listening to his voice. He could do a voiceover for Spencer Day, the Farnborough manager. He sounds so much like him. But anyway, moving on, it sounds like he's got a really good team spirit down there. And like he's saying, they all celebrate the goals together. That's a good trait when everyone's, even the defenders are being bothered to run 30 yards to celebrate from that situation. Obviously, he's going to play it down because I believe him. They probably thought they weren't going to be up there at the top. And once you are at the top, the problem that he will have is the expectations of his club will probably want to have a go.
Right, I think we can now speak to Danny Hill, the Canvey Island manager. Danny, you're live on Back of the Net. Thanks for joining us. We're just talking about Dereham Town and yourselves right up at the top of the division. How's the season going from your point of view? Are you there, Danny? He was there a moment
you
ago.
You got Ross Hamilton, referee here.
Oh, right, we've got brilliant. We've got two lines, and we've managed to put you for. I tell you what, Ross, let's talk to you first before we talk to Danny Hill, the Canvey Island manager. Now, Ross, you're obviously a qualified referee, and the reason that we've put you onto the phone was to speak about the Leatherhead Billericay game. Now, there was an incident in that game where Rob Swain was sent off, and he was actually booked before, and he was the referee. He brought McManus down. Everybody's seen it. He brought him down just inside the box.
Yeah.
And he was one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He was about to shoot. He was taken out. And the referee gave a second yellow card and sent him off. Tell me why that wouldn't have been a red card, a straight red.
I've only just looked at the incident on my lad's phone here. So you just sort of caught me a little bit there. Why was it a second yellow? Okay. It would have been a second yellow if he thought he was making a genuine attempt to go for the ball, but it was a careless as opposed to a reckless decision.
So even if it was one-on-one and it was a goal-scoring opportunity, it doesn't have to be a red.
Yeah, now there's a bit of confusion here. It's called DOGSO, denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. It's where the law has recently changed to prevent triple jeopardy.
Okay,
do we understand about that? Player sent off a various match ban and a penalty. So the laws, the powers that be, decided that it was just too much. So where the defender inside the box makes a genuine attempt to go for the ball, in the referee's opinion, that would be a careless as opposed to a reckless or a deliberate act, and it would be a yellow as opposed to a red card.
There we go. So we've cleared this up.
Yeah.
So it was really important to clear it up, and we were all wondering why it didn't get a straight red card. So the rule change that has just come in means that the referee can. So if he hadn't been on a booking, he wouldn't obviously have been sent off.
No, he wouldn't have been sent off. I mean, he might have given him a yellow for a careless challenge as opposed to a reckless challenge. Really important when you're talking about yellow and red cards. Is it careless? In which case it would be no card at all. Is it, unless the defender was breaking up a promising attack, is it careless? Is it reckless? If it's reckless, then that would be a yellow card in the opinion of the referee. If it's reckless and potentially harming the opposition, that would be a straight red card.
Well, thank you.
Those are the three criteria.
Thank you for clearing that up for us, Ross. And I tell you what, if you don't mind, we may bring you back on as the season progresses with incidents that we see and get your views on it, because it's really interesting to get the view of a referee, and that definitely has cleared that up, hasn't it, Mick?
Yeah. Ross, can I just ask, where do you officiate? I mean, I don't know. Obviously, Ben knows you better than myself. Can I ask where you officiate?
Yeah, for sure. Just to let you know a little bit background for myself. I'm a level 5 referee. I'm on the Sussex-Surrey border. I'm qualified by Surrey, but I'm right in the south of the county, and so officiate in the West Sussex League, sort of villages around myself, but also ref on the Isthmian, or what's now the Bostik League, under 18s, under 23 development type teams. I was out at Dorking Wanderers under 18 Academy yesterday, got an early call up at the beautiful new 3G pitch at Elmbridge. I believe Walton Casuals play up there. It's only been open 2 months. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm also a futsal qualified referee, which is really growing fast now in this country. Universities is where I ref Bucks, British universities. The top league is Super League, but now I'm getting into that more and more. But the main thing Saturday afternoons in sort of local leagues, grassroots level. My lad as well is both my lads are qualified referees. The keenest one is just 17. He's on the Surrey elite squad of refs, if you like. He's off and up at Cobham. and is doing very well and is out with me this afternoon. He's at Barnes Green and I'm at Rudgwick as it happens this afternoon. So my wife's away. I'm running him around as well as myself. But no, delighted to assist with all things refereeing as we go into the season.
Brilliant, Ross. Thank you ever so much. Lovely to hear about what you're up to, and we will definitely get you back on, as I'm sure there'll be more contentious decisions across the Bostik leagues as we make our way through the season. Ross, thank you.
I look forward to it. Thanks very much.
Yeah, good luck with the game today. Well, there was a surprise. It was great to get Ross on and talk about the game. I did think it was going to be Danny Hill, the Canvey Island manager. So we'll see if we can get Danny back on. But lovely to hear from a referee on the show. That really did clear it up for us, didn't it?
Yeah, I was going to discuss away from the show that maybe we should have sort of some refereeing input into the show more weekly, possibly, on decisions.
Well, let's see if Danny Hill, the Canvey Island manager, is on the line now. Danny, are you there?
Yeah, hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, really good. We thought we had you on the line a moment ago, and it turned out to be a referee. So we've got you on now anyway. We're just talking about the top of the Bostik North. We seem to be switching between various topics today, but the top of the Bostik North, yourselves and Dereham Town, leading the way in the automatic positions. What's your assessment of the season so far?
Yeah, we're just taking each game as it comes at the moment. We know we're doing all right. There's 5 or 6 teams around us, and we've got a few games in hand on Dereham as well. So we're just taking each game as it comes and just worrying about ourselves, and we'll see where we are at Christmas, and then we'll assess the situation then.
And we were just talking about Heybridge Swifts today, and they've got the fact that they have so many games in hand. When you look at the teams around you, do you have a little glance down towards them?
Yeah, like I say, they've got a good manager there in Jody, and they recruited well in the summer, and he's been added to the squad of late, obviously with the amount of games they've got coming up, but they're going for it as well, and obviously sometimes you have a good cup run, and they've earned a lot of money out of the cup run, and but I'll say they're suffering with their games in hand now. So, Heybridge as well, over the last few years, their pitch doesn't really hold water too well, so they're probably looking at having a few games called off in this as well. So, sometimes having points on the ball is a good thing, and I think that may be a good thing at the moment. But instead, if they come through and win all their games in hand, then they're going to be miles in front of everyone. But it's a tough ask.
And you're away at Barking today. They're doing pretty well in 7th position. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, obviously, we're just driving down there now, and obviously, heaven's opened up. It's really heavy rain pouring down, so it's going to be a scrappy affair. We went and watched them on Monday against Aveley when they won 1-0, and they're a decent side. But like I say, we're in a good place at the minute, and we're looking forward to the game.
We'll wish you best of luck for today, and we'll catch up, I'm sure, over the next couple of months, and keep up the good work at Canvey Island. Thanks ever so much, Danny. Danny Hill, the Canvey Island manager. We're just about to speak to Jody Brown, the Heybridge Swifts manager. And again, Mick, we mentioned this about Canvey Island, that the pressure's on them. Everyone expects them to do so well.
They do. Big club, isn't it? They've been up there and been and done it, you know what I mean? And for them to drop out of the Bostik Prem last season was quite a shock to myself. Obviously, Merstham, I was there last year. We played Canvey, and they weren't the worst side in that league. But you know, they're unlucky where it's the season 4 had to go down, and this year everyone's got a freebie. So, but I expect them to be in the playoffs most definitely. I mean, my tip was Hornchurch. They're still up there and round there, but obviously Dereham have come up there from nowhere. So, and then I still think, you know, Heybridge Swifts have got a lot to do. It'd be interesting what Jody's got to say. You know, whether they've got enough in the locker to make up all those games they've got to play and get 3 points in, and you know, with the size of the squad. So. Yeah, and interesting.
And when you're a team like Dereham as well, when you're in such fine form, it's difficult to see where a blockage will come, because you know if you're on such a good run, and you know they haven't got like cup competitions to get in the way. You know, they're just playing every Saturday, sometimes Tuesdays. It can really see you through.
Yeah, it can, definitely.
And I think we've got Jody Brown, the Heybridge Swifts manager, on the phone. Jody, you there? Jody, very good afternoon to you. I think we did have Jody on. We're having a bit of problem getting hold of some managers today. We'll go back to Jody. But when you look at, we mentioned this earlier, Mick Heybridge Swifts with those games in hand, they'll be thinking about challenging the likes of AFC Hornchurch, Canvey Island and Dereham Town.
Yeah, I think, didn't we speak about Malvern and Tiptree? We're another one which are actually, right down the bottom of that league near it, and they, you know, deserve more out of that game that we featured against Hornchurch a few weeks back. And now they're creeping up there. I've seen that Bostik North Division's getting quite tight, and there's a lot of good teams. And you know, I want to try and make the differences, but find out these differences, fundamental differences between Bostik North and Bostik South. It's been taught for a long, long time. You know, us Surrey boys on this side of the water will always big up the South, but you know, this has been quite an eye opener for me this year, getting out and about these North divisions, and that, you know, some really good sides there, and they play some good football, and I think they're pretty much equal now. I never thought the case, but I believe that is now.
Right, let's turn our attention. We haven't been able to get hold of Jody. Let's turn our attention to today's game. We saw obviously that Adam and Aaron were in a little bit earlier on talking about the club and the improvements that they've made. Looking forward to today's game against Leiston. It's going to be a tough test for Worthing, even after their rejuvenated form.
It is, but you know, Leiston are sort of just looking at their last 6. They've lost their last 3 and drawn their previous 3 to that. So their form going into this not the best. And looking at Worthing's, obviously their last 4, they've only lost 1 game. So, you know, they're the informed side. But I do worry, you know, listening to what Glenn said in the earlier conversation, he was making reference that maybe they've levelled out. You know, that first 2 seasons in this Bostik Prem, they exceed expectations. And they're not as if they're a well-known club around the scene or got great history. Hopefully they're not, I'm doing them an injustice. So they've punched above their weight for the last couple of years. And also I feel their main striker in Matt Blake, who's a fantastic striker, I think teams have learned how to play against him now, and you know, and to necessarily find another supporting forward that's going to score the amount of goals that Matt scores for Leiston is a difficult task. So I feel that probably hasn't helped Leiston this coming season, but you know, having said that, they are 7th position and they've accumulated 26 points so far. So, you know, up and down really, but I feel expectations are probably exceeding to what they are as a club.
And what do you, if we mentioned this before, but if Worthing had got perhaps the pitch problems sorted out, and if they had the management team settled in the squad as it is now, if we were starting the season now, then perhaps Worthing would be right at the other end.
Well, look, everyone will have their opinion on this, particularly people that know Worthing better than us. But some might say maybe the mix wasn't right at the start of the season, what Gary had brought in, and maybe he didn't think that was conducive. But I really do think, you know, the games that we watched, you know, they were very competitive and they were close games that we watched. And, you know, I think that this having to move away from home and having to play a lot of away games early doors, I think killed Gary very early, on top of what other issues he might have had. I think that was the biggest issue. And I think ever since they've come home here, I appreciate Adam's come in and he said that maybe he's changed the style how they play and use more local guys. But I truly believe having home football and the crowd that they can get down here, because it's a big club that's sort of on bad, you know, I say on bad times. They had a great season last season, and you know, and I fully believe they're going to get out. They won't finish bottom of this league. So, and I think that they go on from here personally, but I do think the biggest reason was the fact they had to play a lot of their games away.
Really quickly, predictions from you for today. How do you see it going?
I think it's a long old trip for Leiston, and you know, they had a long trip down to Dorking last week as well, didn't they? So I fancy Worthing are on the up. I fancy Worthing will nick this game by a goal. I can't give you an actual result, but I do believe they will win it, and I think there will only be a goal difference in it.
Right, we're going to hear from 2 supporters, one from each of the clubs before we go today, and we'll be back with those fans' views after this.
By Promote UK, we're really good at what we do.
Times are changing. We now live in a digital world where 9 out of 10 people use the internet to look for local goods and services. Whether in front of a computer at home or on a mobile phone on the go, people expect to find what they want, when they want, quickly and easily. The question is, can your business be found? At Promote UK, we specialise in getting local businesses found online. One highly affordable package will give your business a stunning mobile responsive website, which we guarantee guarantee to get to the first page of Google and keep it there. And we take care of everything: copywriting, design, hosting. We even offer unlimited amends all year round for no extra charge. So, whilst you're busy focusing on your business, we're busy making sure it can be found online all year round. Start your Google Page One journey today with a free online health check by visiting PromoteUKLimited.com. Promote UK. We're really good at what we do.
From Premiership to Playground, MH Goals has everything you need for an outstanding football match, including aluminium and steel football goals, nets, line marking machines, team shelters, boot wipers, and much more. Buy with confidence direct from the manufacturer with great prices available across our whole range of sports equipment. What's more, we offer fantastic discounts for all FA affiliated clubs. We pride ourselves on British manufacturing. We make all our football goals here in the UK and conform to the latest British and European safety standards. So call MH Goals direct on 01502 711 298 or visit our online store at mhgoals.com.
Are you a budding footballer sitting your GCSEs next summer, wondering what to do next? Want to play football while studying for qualifications that will get you into university? Dorking Wanderers Football Club are now recruiting for their football academy for 2018-2019. Based at their brand new state-of-the-art Meadowbank Stadium, you'll be playing in the National Conference Youth Alliance against the best clubs in the area each week, as well as the prestigious FA Youth Cup. You'll be studying BTEC Level 3 qualifications, equivalent to 3 A-levels, alongside professional coaching from our UEFA qualified coaches. For information on trials and open evenings, visit dorkingwanderers.com/academy or email academy@dorkingwanderers.com.
Head to backofthenetsouth.co.uk tomorrow morning for video highlights and full match reaction of today's games. Back to your favourite non-league football show, powered by Promote UK. We're really good at what we do. Back of the net, where it matters.
So welcome back to the show today. We've not got long left on our show this morning. What we're going to do next is we're going to speak to two supporters of both clubs that are going to be battling it out this afternoon. First of all, I'm going to go to our phone lines and speak to Chris, who is a Worthing fan. Chris, very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you.
Now, your team have been extremely rejuvenated over the last few weeks. You must be delighted with the turnaround in form.
Absolutely. It really started with Adam Hinchelwood. And when he took over from Gary, the players very quickly started to play in a much more disciplined way, knowing their roles and responsibilities, and playing to the players' individual strengths as well as team strength. And it's they just look a completely different side, transformed.
And I'm going to hold you there and say good afternoon to Lawrence, who's the Leiston fan. Lawrence, good afternoon to you. Lawrence is our Leiston fan. Lawrence, good afternoon. Lawrence is there. We can hear him in the background. I think he might be making himself lunch or something. Lawrence, are you there? Okay, we'll let Lawrence join in whenever he feels fit. He's the Leiston fan making his way down today. Chris, going back to you, what do you think of Leiston coming here? They're obviously last year finished up towards the playoffs and they're in 7th position. Been a little bit out of form recently. Does that give you extra confidence?
Well, I think at the moment the players to have a reasonable degree of confidence of getting a result. 2-1, possibly. They had been, even when the turnaround started in play, they'd always been susceptible still to, you take the lead and it's still fragile. And if the opposition got a goal back, you could see the heads drop. That's not happening now. I just think that there's a confidence there within the supporters as well as the players, and that helps. The other night, listening in the pouring rain, there they were chanting, "We're bottom of the league and we're having a laugh." How much better can it get for players than to hear supporters happy with what they're seeing?
Right, let's see if Lawrence is there now. Lawrence is our Leiston fan. Lawrence, are you there?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Lawrence. Very good
Yeah,
afternoon to
hi.
you. So your team have taken a few games where you've slightly lost points and lost a little bit of ground at the top. Are you worried, or do you think your manager will get it right come the end of the season?
Yeah, it's a bit of one.
Okay, I think we're losing Lawrence. Lawrence, you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're
I'm
obviously
trying to-
making your way down. Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Carry on.
Is that better? I'm
Yeah.
standing in the rain, so I'll try and be as quick as I can. Yeah, I mean, we seem to hit a bit of a rocky patch around this time every year at the moment. We start very well, and then sort of the wheels come off a little bit. And I know that Glenn's trying to do all he can to arrest it. But yeah, it's a bit worrying for us. We're out. Decent run of form. It's a game we would need to get a game for us. So yeah. Hopefully we can turn it around today.
And quick prediction. So, Chris, what do you think the score's going to be today?
I'm going for 2-1.
2-1 to Worthing. Why not? They're in form. And Lawrence, do you think form's going to turn around? What do you think the score will be today?
Yeah, well, I'll go 2-1 Leiston just because I think we have to turn a corner at some point, and today.
Okay, so 2-1 to Leiston for Lawrence. Listen, guys, enjoy the game. Thank you ever so much for coming on the show, and best of luck to your respective clubs today.
All right. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Brilliant. Chris and Lawrence are two fans. Just about managed to get Lawrence. We've had a few technical problems on the phones today. Maybe we can put it down and blame the weather. That's it for the show.